I was just like rubbing my head and having these thoughts that felt amazing. I don't even know if thoughts is the right word. It was a translation of feeling. I decided to turn the camera on. Something, I just like doing this. Something fucking incredible is happening. The mind is losing its power as the director of my experience. It's still very active. It's still, I get lost in its ideas of what's next. But I feel more and more clarity that it's coming from fear. That all this planning, there can be planning that comes from joy and excitement and trust and just inspired flow. But a lot of mental activity, a lot of what's next, looking at the day, looking at the future, feels to me like I need to make sure this works out. I need to have a plan so everything will be okay, so I will be safe, so I will be comfortable. And it feels rooted in, I don't trust life. I don't trust myself. And as I feel more and more clear on that, I notice myself surrendering when those thoughts come in, of even the simplest things, like maybe I want to go for a walk. Maybe I want to go get some food. Maybe I want, like all these ideas, there's some sort of, often, not always, some sort of tension in the desire. And that tension, I imagine it rooted in separation, rooted in, if I don't move this way, something's not going to work out. Something's not going to be okay. Something's not going to be ideal. It's this war with preference. Like, I must go toward my preference. I feel like a slave to preference, to desire. And it feels like an invitation to notice, I feel so theatrical right now, but it's just the way it's coming through. It feels good. To notice what happens when I'm not doing any of that. How it feels when that's happening, how my body feels. It can be juicy at times if I really just like enjoy it somehow. But a lot of the time it's just like, no thank you. But it's all we know until something else starts to enter. And that's been slowly building for me. Something else that wants to show up and dance as me, with me. And more I find myself moving like I'm dancing, like I'm flowing, because I'm consciously inviting that. And sometimes it doesn't feel conscious. Sometimes I just notice myself moving. I know, like, more and more I'm like, oh wow, look what I'm doing. Like I'm half aware of what I'm doing as I'm speaking right now, and I'm half sort of feeling like it's a choice to dance with it. Because I could just stop, but that doesn't feel good. Why would I want to stop this? Why would I want to stop doing this? And nothing else feels worth it by comparison, like any worry or fear, even to the extreme of like, when that mental activity comes in around how am I going to have money to survive, it's so uncomfortable that I'm like, I'd rather just not survive. I'd rather not think about that than and put myself into whatever position I put myself in, then let that be what runs me. It's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it anymore to be run by those energies. And I feel as I get closer to zero and I really feel into like, what if I really don't have money? What if I'm navigating this existence and I'm just homeless with no money, and I actually feel into the freedom. There's this freedom there. And there's also a sense of it's not going to be what I think it is. It's in that surrendered space, everything's just going to, like, I'm going to be so happy that I can't help but manifest happiness. There's still all, all these moments of like, and I've had a lot of those since I landed on Maui a few weeks ago. And I've been in a comfortable situation, staying with some beautiful people, roof over my head, abundance of food. So it's contributed to calming my nervous system, and I can see the value of that, and I can see why people prioritize that and say, I really need these conditions in place to take care of myself, to have a calm nervous system so that I can be in touch with spirit, so that I can be in touch with my soul purpose, or whatever we want to call that. But there's something like even beyond that I'm sensing. Because there are moments when I'm in that, like when I slept on the beach and didn't have anywhere to stay. There were moments of such freedom in that, where I was just lying on the sand and looking at the ocean and feeling spirit, just looking up at the trees and at the sky and watching the clouds, and that's all I want. That's all I want, is to exist in harmony with that. And whatever flows from there, flows from there. I've been having these incredible experiences of going, walking to the park down the street and being danced and singing, and in this open field, barefoot, just running around like a child, jumping on trees. Something's returning to me that got lost. Because I know I was a fucking happy kid. And that's what I'm returning to. And the conditions in place for that were that I wasn't worried about money. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have all these things that I'm like, if I don't have this thing, I'm not okay. And at the same time, as I alluded to, I was completely taken care of. I didn't have to worry about having a roof over my head. I didn't have to worry about food in the fridge. That was all taken care of by my dad, which I'm so grateful for. And that's being taken care of now by friends. So, I don't know. I don't know that will continue to be taken care of if I live this surrendered existence of only following the moment, only being led by that inspiration, that dance. Because I don't know if it'll lead me to money. I don't know if it will lead me to shelter. I don't know that I'll eat every day. But it's not worth the prison of fear to remain moved by that mind-oriented. I need to make sure that the future's okay. And it feels as if the more I let go into that, the more this, we could call it masculine presence, is invited from me and will take care of me. And beyond any mind considerations. I'll just be moved in the moment and things will show up. There's been more synchronicity here in Maui probably than I've ever experienced in my life. More being offered to me than I expected. Kind of just showing up here, making a decision to come here without knowing who I'd stay with, what it would look like, knowing few people on the island. But I feel like I took the leap, like I'm starting to be in that process of really jumping off the cliff and learning to fly. And it's so fun to share it here with you. Thank you.